I'm Connie Burns. I am the former head instructor of the New Jersey Klopfechters and now a student of MASHES and KDF in Maryland. I have medaled in about 6 Rapier tournaments. I have fought literally #1 in the world, Rob Childs, and at least managed to touch him a few times, which is better than most people do.
Really good.
Let's see, I'm also a 3rd Dan in Tong Soo Do, have medaled in multiple national competitions. This class is to help you build a framework using what I learned in karate to be able to do HEMA, right? Because at the end of the day, this is still a combat sport, and tactics, skills, and thought processes apply to both. So now then, who here has been at a HEMA tournament and I borrow a demo dummy?
That would be me.
Yes, Ryan will be my demo dummy in a bit, but for now, Bill is my demo dummy. Who here has been at a HEMA tournament? We're not actually fighting Billiam. And seen this. 2 fencers, the judges call start, and the fencers walk to the middle of the ring and ha-ha! Right? Who here's seen that? There is no plan, you just walk to measure and go clack, 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 flail hit. Everyone has seen this somewhere in HEMA. So, what I am going to propose to start this class is a tactical framework. This is what my first instructor, Dave Gillen, who was a kickboxer, pounded into my head. You want to get in, you want to go to work, and you want to go home. At the end of the day, if your plan fails and you cannot implement it, get the fuck out of Dodge. So, perfect, right? Bill and I are fighting. I am out of measure right now. Bill, can you reach me?
No.
Even with a big lunge?
No.
Yeah, right? So, I need to figure, especially with this tiny little guy compared to Bill's 45-inch nightmare stick, I need to figure out a way to enter measure. Everyone will have a different plan depending on the tactics they like or the framework they study. So the first part of this class is how do I get into the danger zone? Right now, I am in Bill's danger zone. He is not in mine, especially because I cannot lunge right now. Bill lunge. Oh no, I'm a kebab. I cannot just walk into range. I need a way to enter range and make Bill do something. My favorite entry if I'm studying an Italian style of fencing is to walk into measure and do a big ass find on the blade. Cool, that made Bill back off. You know what I can do then? Pursue and regain the blade. And I can basically chase him looking for positional dominance. So, that's step 1, get in. Step 2 is go to work, right? So now, let's come this way a little so we aren't running over Jarrett. I need to find a way to actually get my tactics to work. I need to find a way to stab Bill. I found his blade. Bill does something. Now, I have the line closed and I can hit him, right? Simple as. My plan was find, and I'm putting Bill into what I like to call a known channel. Basically, I forced Bill to have about 3 options, all of which I have a plan to counter. So, again, I do that big find. Bah! Bill changes through. Right? I've closed him down. At this point, I have him safe. Bill, try something different. I suppress down and cut him in the head, right? I still have choices. Or if Bill does a hang and cuts because he's desperate and doesn't know what he's doing. Boom, boom. Those are about the only 3 options he really has when I do that. Besides just backing up and dropping his sword like Agrippa says, but no one does that unless they're a black tiger. So, now then, our first game is what I like to call one-step fencing. I stole this straight from karate. So with this, what we're going to do is you're going to start out of measure. You are going to do something to your opponent, and they have 1 action that you then have to counter. So, where did I put my fucking mask? Right there. I'm going to mask up for this, and Bill might hit me. It's okay to fail. A big thing with learning is failing. If you are learning a new skill and a new martial art or trying something new, it is perfectly okay to get your ass kicked 5 million times. If on the 5 million and first time it works, it becomes comfortable for you. So the way this works is, Bill, you have 1 action, and I get to cue you in when to do that action, right? So I go, boom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to yell, Hep! Now Bill does his thing, right? Does that make sense to everyone? Then I have to counter that. So again, I find Bill, Hep! Boom. Nice. Right? Does that make sense? Try different entries. Instead of that entry, I might try this. A smaller find. Or on the other side. Or I might go full Black Tigers and do the magic voodoo hand of doom, right? I have choices. So if I walk in on Bill here with my hand up, what are my options? Hup. Right? I can still do something. So try different entries, find different ways to close. Find a friend, make a new friend. Make sure it's not someone from your club. Make sure it is someone new and different. And let's work on entering measure. Sound good to everyone? Awesome. That is a basic idea of an entry, right? Now then, who has also seen this in a Rapier match? We're at the edge of measure, and I'm super fucking athletic. Bill mask down, Ryan mask down. You're going to demonstrate this for me because I can't do this. And Bill, you're going to be my demo dummy. Let me put on my mask because I don't feel like losing an eyeball because I'm going to do something incredibly dumb.
Are you going to stand in
Let's
the middle
pretend
and fight?
both of Connie's legs work for a second. Right? You do this. And we both launch at each other like fucking cruise missiles. That happens all the time in HEMA. And we do this. Aha! Yeah. Ow, my kitty. Right? If you just launch at your opponent as fast as you can, sure, that's great if you're faster than them, but there is always someone more athletic with less of a life and fewer work hours than you have. Ask me how I know. You think you're fit, and then you run into some 18-year-old who only does HEMA and works a part-time job at a gas station.
Was that a direct ad at Sawyer Freshie?
No, I love that guy. He actually has a life. So,
I did think of Sawyer when you said that.
that was not directed at Sawyer. I run into other people with even less of a
I
life.
can't believe you hate Sawyer, Connie.
19. So, anyway, with this next part, how do you deal with someone who likes to yoink at you? There's a few really good options because you cannot always implement your game plan aggressively. Sometimes you take that first shot and you go, oh shit, I'm on the defense today. So, now then, when someone explodes at you, you have the ability to void or gain control of their blade defensively. Bill, you are athletic, right?
Yes.
You would say you're more athletic than I am, right? Start a little further back. I want you to cruise missile me. Hup. I knew the line his sword was on, and I broke his structure.
Yeah.
Even on a cane. And if I fail, that's okay. That's all learning. Failure is a part of learning. Bill, one more time. Hup! Right? I break his structure. If I had a good hand, I would grab his blade and crack him upside the head. But you want to find and control your opponent's blade or bait them into a good target that's easy for you to defend. Right? What I did with Bill there was purposely cue him to target this part of my chest. Right, Bill?
Yes, I basically, I engaged in, went for that, and then got smoked.
Yep, because I had already found his blade without ever touching it.
Yep.
I am here. Right now, if Bill goes for that, what he thinks is weak target, all I do is extend my arm and I am safe and can get my hit. One more time, launch me as fast as you humanly can. Hup! One more time. Hup! Right? So for this drill, you're going to have the cruise missile and the defender. You're going to do it 5 times each because I don't want you getting hurt and it's a little muddy. Our cruise missile fencer is going to do a big ass lunge or fletch at their opponent. You have to find a way to defend it. My preferred defense is simply to get an overbite. Again, slow, slow. All good. Up, boom, right? And then I'm either grappling, or if I'm a little quicker, I can do the cool voidy things that Italian masters and Spanish masters and Dutch masters all show us, like an incortada. Up, right? So you start to get more options as you get your body out of the way. You can also do your Passara Prime this way. Up. Right?
Whoa.
And you can try all of your different voiding actions as well. So experiment with a solution that is comfortable to you. Right? Because at the end of the day, as fencers and martial artists, none of you have a body that works like mine. I am not going to make you do a technique that works for me if it doesn't work for you. I've given you a few potential options. So what I want you to do is try this, and again, be okay with failure. Failure is a part of the learning process, so if you get hit a couple times, that's okay. For the cruise missile fencer, the first 3 reps should be at 50% speed, so your opponent can experiment safely. Does that make sense to everyone? And I don't want you going faster than 70% on this, because this is a drill and skill building exercise, not a competitive exercise. Okay, everyone understood?
Yes.
Let's do it. Find a new friend. So, now then, this is getting in both offensively and defensively, right? And we did a little of the going to work part. So now then, part 2, we're going to form a big circle around Connie. Come in, I only fart a lot.
Is this going to be like a stabbing version of the trust circle?
Kind of, actually.
Okay, sweet.
So, for this part of the class, going to work, what does that mean? Who here has a day job? Who, or a student, or whatever, who here has had something where they have to show up at a place and do a thing regularly?
Oh yeah.
I don't show up anymore.
Most of my life.
It's virtual now.
Lucky. I had to switch from virtual to in-office and I'm salty about it.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
It does. So, now then, when you show up at work, you have tasks you need to accomplish. Fencing is much the same. Let's see, Ryan, you're my uke.
Okay.
If I am fencing, Mr. Leonard, I have gotten in. I have done what I need to do to get to the point where I can hit Ryan. Ryan will probably do something because he doesn't want to get hit. Yeah, fletch. I can't actually fletch, so I will bounce at you dramatically. Oh my God, there's a picture of that stupidity coming. I love it.
To be shared later so you can have a copy.
That's going to become my background picture on Facebook. Thank you kindly. So, right, I've gotten in. Ryan has done something. He is trying to take my blade, right? If Ryan does this. Okay, going to work is that. I stab him in the dick. Right? So going to work is executing your game plan and getting the touch. So what I want you to think about is I've gotten home, gone in, I've gone to work. Now I go home. So right now we're not going to worry about the exit plan. We're just going to worry about how to get your touch when they do a big parry or a big action. We're going to exaggerate it first and make it smaller as we go. So you have cueing and you have a visualization. So for our first drill, you're going to enter the way that you found comfortable in the first part of this class because it's going to be different for everyone. Ba is my favorite, so I do this. Ryan will then do a defensive action to stop me from being able to hit. So now I need to figure out how to hit Ryan safely. In this case, what Capifero says is I drop my point under his arm, stab him in the stomach, and get a bunch of dirt on his jacket and pass through. Right? You want to keep any going to work part of your fencing at most 2 to 3 tempos, if you can help it. This is from a longsword manual, but I think it's pertinent advice. The Ectromonte says any fencer that takes his action beyond 3 intentions craves death. Right? If Ryan and I get into a fight, and I go, ha-ha! Ha-ha! And I haven't hit yet. Ha-ha! And then we double. Medicine sucked back then and we're both fucking dead, right? I'm at least losing my arm from infection. So, what I need to do, and I'm going to put on my mask again now, is find a way to hit Ryan within 2 tempos. So now we're doing 2-step fighting. I bind, I cue, up. Ryan parries. I change through, up, and get my touch. Now we're doing 2-step fighting with 2 ki. The first ki is the first action they get. The second ki is the second action they get. Does that make sense to everyone? Ki is a yell for people who haven't done karate. Sound cool?
Question for you. So a lot of these examples that you've shown have been starting with a bind on the blade.
Yeah.
Is it okay to also, I'm not going to thrust at you, but say we were fencing here. One of my favorite things to do is an indication at a line.
That is fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Just something to make them move.
Yep, that is a perfectly valid strategy. As far as clocking out of your goddamn shift and going home because you just worked a 10-hour day, you're a union man and you need your cup of coffee and to see your wife.
That's right.
Right? So, we're going to go home. Now then, You should always have an exit strategy when you are fencing. Ryan, that's my coach, his favorite exit strategy is if he is in a situation and Ryan finds his blade and he needs to bail, he does a big engulfment and comes back online out of measure. Ryan, can you reach me right now? Right? Unless you do an absolute piss missile howl, you're not reaching me. So if I find I go to thrust, Ryan does this. I do this, Ryan counters again. No. And now I am safe again because I am out of dodge. Right? So the first thing we're going to do is one-step sparring, but this time you lose. You don't get the hit, you fail. We're purposely failing so we can figure out our exit plan. Right? So the way this works is I thrust in. Ryan takes my blade. When I cue him, that was my fuck up. Up. Oh no. I step back and present a threat while leaving measure. I have gone home. Basically, going home is getting out of measure. And this is going to be the longest part of the thing. Would you guys mind if I talk for a moment before we start the drill?
Go for it.
So everyone come in, let's sit for a second. My leg hurts, I want to sit, I'm a lazy bastard. Pop a squat. So now then.
Nearly all of us have chronic pain or other injuries,
So, we've all fenced for a while. We've all been in this sport for at least a couple months, years, whatever. We rarely think about what we do after we hit or what we do after we make contact. A big part of fencing is dealing with the afterblow or your opponent's threat even after you've touched them. What if the judge misses the shot? If you're in a big dramatic lunge and you're fully extended and you skewer them, ha-ha! Whack! His point. How many people have had that happen? It's the name of the game, right? Judges are human. We have to learn how to sell our fencing actions to the judges. So, for that, a big part of this is knowing how to deal with what happens after you hit and no one sees it. So, Ryan, stand with me. Everyone else can pop a squat still. It's gross out. I am now coated in mud because I forgot I was in shorts. We're actually going to change the game a little. We're going to play what I like to call afterblow game. This is one-step fencing where after you hit, your opponent gets one fucking afterblow at you. So I'm going to put on my mask, and Ryan and I are going to play a round of afterblow game to demonstrate. You have a problem. Ask me how I know, because I used to not be able to deal with an afterblow. Right? Most of what I'm teaching is shit I have learned by failing fucking repeatedly. So I find Ryan. I hit. Ryan Howe has tempo to afterblow me. So I cover it, hit again, withdraw. Right? So I attack, or I do my entry. I cue Ryan. Hup. I do my counter, and then Ryan gets an afterblow immediately after he feels contact. We're going to start this very fucking slow. I want you at like 50% speed, because at speed it's this. So I'm going to fire a shot. You're going to have to. Up. Right? It's fast. Fencing is fast. Actions are fundamentally difficult. One more time, slow. Up, zoom. Ryan counter. Boom. Hit. Ryan afterblow. One more time. I enter. Up. I hit. Ryan goes for the afterblow. Oh no! I just got hit, right? That means my plan was not a good one. So, let's try that verse again. Boom. 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 And then they probably didn't see that touch. So I come back in. This time getting more control of the blade. Does that make sense to everyone? So you attack, or you enter, you cue, you hit, they afterblow, and you cover the afterblow. Understood? Let's find a new friend and play afterblow game. I want you to do 10 repetitions each person. Again, tournament, and I can finish setting up brackets, but just kind of stay here because I'm going to try to start early. Okay. So, now that we have 15 minutes, we're going to have one last yap because I want to say a couple things since this is Karate for HEMA. Now then, you've gotten in, you've gone to work, you've gone home. Does everyone kind of understand that tactical framework? Yes. Now then, we're going to add a couple actual karate elements. The first, and I will need Ryan's help with this, because you've been my demo dummy all day. So I kind of cued you in on what this class was on our group chat, and yeah. You're fine. Now then, an easy way to deal with an attacker who likes the straight line, I cannot do this quickly, so we're going to go very slow, is to use a broken, non-linear motion. If you do this, Freza, this will make you happy, right? So this is a crossing step, very slow. It's boom, front foot crosses, back foot comes in, and then you hit, right? But the big thing is, if Ryan is coming at me on a straight line, I don't want to count this fully straight. Even if it's just a void of the body, I am safer. So, what we're going to do is Ryan's going to find me on the inside line, so get an overbind on the inside and attack. Up. Don't even leave the sword, or attack before. Good. This is bad for my health. So, I need to do two things. I need to buy measure. My plan, whatever it was, has already gone tits up. I need to go home. I'm clocking out early today. I have the flu. Right? So, Ryan starts his attack. Up. I pass back and come offline. The big thing is, as I pass back, I am queuing offline. I'm breaking the center line. A lot of fencers fight on railroad tracks. How many times have you seen a HEMA match and they stay on this line here the entire fucking fight? Who here has seen that? Raise your hand.
Does that?
Yeah. Woo! Right? So, if you watch me move, when Ryan launches that fine gain hit, boom, boom. That's straight out of Capo Ferro. I believe it's plate 8 or 9. Right? Again, I'm breaking the center line. Up, boom, and continuing past that center line. So experiment with non-linear defensive options now. Is that clear to everyone? All right, find a friend. Let's do this. This is pretty much the conclusion of class. We've been here for about an hour and 10 minutes. That was quick, right? So, now then, what we've talked about is getting in, going to work, going home. Any questions? What? Not at my company. We're in late-stage capitalism, bitches.
Any dental?
Teeth are vanity bones. Get fucked.
They cut benefits so they can sell another zero to us.
So, I am the CEO now. I would like the money, please. So, remember, when you're fencing, you need a plan to get in, you need a plan to go to work, and you need a plan to go home. So, as you fence, as you do a martial art, always enter measure with a plan. Execute your plan. If your plan fails, get out of dodge. Right? Karate is all about hit and run. Karate never takes a Muay Thai fighter in a fight where they just stand and trade, bro. You don't ever want to stand and bang. So you want to shoot into measure. 1, 2, 3, out. Right? You want to get in, do your work, get out, re-engage later if your plan fails. If they give you the point, fuck yeah, you're done. But the big thing is never get stuck in place and never attack on a straight line. Remember.
Okay, so I think the answer is it's not quite, the answer to my question is it's not quite as linear as I'm thinking about it. The way that I've fixed is I start with an initial threat, like I said earlier, and I will intentionally respond off of what comes next. Like if they don't do anything, continue through. I don't go into a bout with I think they're going to exactly do this. That step out, which I am currently working on, so I have an issue not stepping out when I've lost the line and stuff, only comes when I am in a position that I feel I can no longer control the situation, even though the plan didn't, it's not directly according to plan. Like, say, pick up your rapier if you could, say I do a take here, and instead of disengage, like I would expect you to do that, but I can continue forward without resetting. Yes, for continued motion, but even though it doesn't go exactly how I originally planned, is it okay to continue to press forward if I feel that I am safe to do so?
If you feel safe, yes, but in that position, you are not necessarily safe.
Oh, I'm also not stepping forward as much as I'm not trying to throw that shot because you're not bringing it back.
Yeah, but even then, if you're here, I still have recourse if you start to close to parry, grab, kick, right? So that was not necessarily safe. So the second you feel your blade get controlled or taken, that's when you want to start thinking about leaving measure, right? The second you lose control of your situation or are caught off guard by something, you increase your risk of doubling and putting yourself in an unsafe position with your fencing. So at the end of the day, and this is why I'm also running Coven Point as an immediate follow-up to this class, because it's single pass. If you don't take the safe action and you double, you both automatically lose the fight, right? So, if you are fencing, and you take, and then you launch like this, cock, we both lost our tournament fight, right? Instead, you have to act safely and cerebrally. At the end of the day, if you are thinking about your fencing, you are doing it right. You don't want to just see red, bro. You actually need to fight in an intelligent and safe manner for yourself. Because if this is a real duel, and I double, we're both fucking dead. I know that's a little real fighty, but to an extent, you do have to treat your opponent like they are a threat, and not just something you can ignore. Now then, the last part of this is I would like to talk about the concept of sprezzatura. Who here has heard that term before? Ryan has talked with me. That is a concept a lot of Italian fencing masters talk about. Some people say it is overconfidence or absolute belief in your skills and ability. What it actually is confidence in your ability to get out of the situation safely, not stay safe, and the ability to have faith in your ability to execute your game plan. So what you need to fence effectively is a game plan and faith in your ability to execute that game plan regardless of what your opponent does. Thank you for attending. That is the lecture.